Go and open the drawer where you keep your hair clips, or the pot on the bathroom shelf, or the little dish on the dressing table, wherever they have accumulated. I am going to tell you what is in there. There is a large brown plastic claw clip with ridged teeth, and you have had it since roughly 1998. There is a thin metal snap barrette that does not really hold anything anymore, but you keep it because it once matched something. There is something with a stone or a pearl or a little enamel flower on it that you bought for a wedding. There is a banana comb. There are 11 bobby pins, of which you use 2. And there is one clip you actually reach for every single day, and you could not tell me what color it is without looking. If I got most of that right, you are not unusual. You are completely typical, and that is the point. Because here's the thing about hair clips that makes them different from every other thing you put on your body. You have never seen one on yourself. Not once. Not properly. Your earrings you check in a mirror. Your necklace you adjust at the neckline. Your rings are in front of your face all day, but a clip goes on the back or the side of your head, you put it in by feel, in a hurry, and then you walk out of the door, and every single person you meet that day sees it, and you do not. So it is the one accessory that has never been assessed. It has never been held up against your face, never compared to anything, never replaced because it stopped suiting you. It just stayed in the drawer, doing its job, quietly making decisions about how you look for 25 years. And clips do 2 jobs, not 1. Everybody thinks about the first one, which is holding hair. Almost nobody thinks about the second, which is that a clip draws a line on your head, and where that line sits and what it is made of changes the shape of your whole face. So I am going to give you 5 that are aging you and what to use instead for every single one. Then 3 that always work. And then the placement rule, which is worth more than any clip you could buy. Number 4 is the one I most want you to reach because it is the one you think of as your good clip. It is the one you save for occasions. It probably costs the most, and it is doing more damage than the other 4 combined. Stay with me for that. Let me start with why any of this matters, because the mechanism is not obvious. Here is what a clip is actually doing. It is a hard object, usually with a strong outline, sitting at head height on a person. And head height is the most looked at zone on a human being because the eye goes to faces and it takes in everything within a few inches of one. So a clip is jewelry. Whether you intended it to be or not, it is a visible object with a color and a shape and a finish, worn on the most examined part of you, and it gets read exactly the same way an earring gets read. But we do not buy them like jewelry. We buy them in a chemist, in a multi-pack, for £2, choosing on grip strength and nothing else, and then we wear the thing every day for a decade. That mismatch is the whole problem. A functional object in a decorative position. Now the second half, which is the part that actually ages people. A clip does not just sit there. It gathers your hair and it holds it in a shape, and that shape is a decision about your silhouette. Think about what happens when you clip your hair up. You have removed volume from wherever the hair used to be, and you have concentrated it wherever the clip is. If the clip sits low at the back of your neck, you have taken all the fullness downward and left the top of your head flat. If it sits high, you have lifted everything upward, and you know already which of those reads as younger, because it is the same thing every good haircut does. Lift at the crown, structure at the top. A face reads as lifted when there is height above it and heavy when there is not. So every time you clip your hair, you are making a silhouette decision, usually without looking, usually in about 4 seconds, usually with an object you bought during a different presidency. 5 to stop. The first is the oversized brown plastic claw clip with the ridged teeth. I want to be very precise here, because claw clips as a category are absolutely fine. They are everywhere at the moment. Women in their 20s wear them constantly, and a good claw clip is one of the most useful things you can own. I am not telling you to stop wearing claw clips. I am telling you to stop wearing that one. The specific one, big, curved, molded from shiny brown plastic with a marbled tortoiseshell effect, with deep ridged teeth and a visible metal spring across the back. Three things are wrong with it, and they compound. The first is the finish. Shiny molded plastic in a fake tortoiseshell pattern is one of the most recognizable material signals of the 1990s, and materials date faster than shapes do. Anybody looking at it places it immediately, and once an object has been placed in a decade, the person wearing it gets placed there too. The second is the size relative to the hair. Those clips were designed for the hair volume most of us had at 40. If your hair has become finer, and for most of us it has, the same clip now holds a smaller amount of hair in a very large housing, so you get a big plastic object with a thin twist of hair inside it. The clip becomes the main event, and the hair becomes the accessory. And the third is where it puts the weight. Those clips are heavy, which means they slide downward through the day, and a big clip that has slid low sits at the nape and pulls the whole silhouette down. The replacement is straightforward, and it is a genuine upgrade. A matte finish claw clip in a solid color rather than a marbled pattern, sized so that it is comfortably full when your hair is in it. Matte reads as current, where gloss reads as dated, and a solid color has no period attached to it at all. Black, a deep brown, a bone, or a proper metal. Take the old one out of the drawer tonight. Hold the two side by side. You will not need me to explain the difference. The second is the thin metal snap barrette that no longer holds. This is the flat one, a couple of inches long, with the little sprung metal bar underneath that clicks shut. Most of us have several, in gold or silver tone, some with a pattern stamped into them. The problem is not the design. It is that a snap barrette holds by tension, and tension needs volume to push against. As hair becomes finer, there is less for it to grip, so it slips. And it does not fall out, which would at least be honest. It slides down an inch or two and then holds there. So by mid-afternoon it has drifted, the hair around it has loosened, and there is a soft, sagging section above it. The clip is now sitting somewhere you did not put it, holding a shape you did not choose, and here is the part that costs you more than the drooping does. You keep fixing it. You reach up, push it back, click it shut, 4 or 5 times an hour without noticing. That small constant management is visible. Nobody in the room can see that your barrette has slipped by an inch and a half. Everybody in the room can see a woman repeatedly reaching up to the back of her head. Fussing reads as age far more reliably than any object does, because it reads as not being quite comfortable in yourself. The replacement depends on what you want. If you want the flat barrette look, buy one with a proper hinged clasp rather than a sprung bar. They are usually described as a French clip or a French barrette, and they close with a hinge and stay closed regardless of how much hair is in there. And if it is a small amount of hair you are holding, a good spiral pin or a single well-placed pin under the hair will do it invisibly. Which brings me to something I will come back to, because invisible holding is a very underrated option. The third is the banana comb. If you do not know the name, you will know the object. It is the long, curved double comb that hinges in the middle. You put one side in, sweep the hair over, and clip the other side into it to make a vertical roll up the back of the head. They were genuinely everywhere between about 1985 and 1995, and a great many women learned to do their hair with one and never stopped. There is nothing wrong with it mechanically. It holds beautifully, it is comfortable, and it takes 4 seconds. The problem is entirely that it is one of the most precisely dated objects in existence. Some things are period marked and some are not. A plain gold hoop earring has no decade attached to it. Women wore them in the 60s and they wear them now. A banana comb has 1 decade attached to it and only one, and everybody who sees it knows exactly which. And that matters more than it sounds, because of what the brain does with it. When somebody sees an object strongly associated with a period, they date the object, and then without meaning to, they extend that dating to the person wearing it. Not to her age, to her currency. The impression is not she is old. The impression is she stopped somewhere. That is a harsher judgment than any wrinkle produces, and it is entirely avoidable. The replacement gives you the same result with none of the association. The vertical French twist that a banana comb creates can be done with 2 or 3 spiral pins or a single well-sized claw clip, and it takes about the same time once you have done it twice. Sweep the hair to one side, twist it upward, tuck the ends under, and secure it. The shape is identical. The object holding it has simply become invisible. Which brings me to the fourth, and this is the one I promised. The fourth is anything embellished. Rhinestones, pearls, enamel flowers, butterflies, little jeweled bars, anything with a decorative element attached to it. And I know this is the unwelcome one, because this is your good clip. This is the one you keep for the wedding, the christening, the anniversary dinner. It probably cost 20 or 30 pounds, which by clip standards is a fortune. And you have had it a long time and you like it. Here is why it is the most aging thing in the drawer. Applied decoration is the single fastest signal of low quality that exists in an object. This is true of clothing, it is true of handbags, and it is most true of small accessories. A genuinely expensive object is almost always plain, one good material, one clean shape, nothing added. Decoration is what gets applied to inexpensive things to make them feel like better value, and everybody's eye has learned that association, whether or not they could explain it. So a clip with stones glued to it reads as cheap at speed from across a room, regardless of what it actually cost. And it reads that way at head height, next to your face, on the most examined part of you. There is a second problem, which is about light. Rhinestones and pearls are high reflectance surfaces, so they catch and throw light hard, and when there is a bright glinting object near a face, the eye goes to the brightest point and then examines the area around it. You have installed a spotlight next to your hairline and pointed it at yourself, and there is a third, which is association. Decorative hair ornaments read as either bridal or as childhood. Neither of those is a register that flatters a woman of 65 at a dinner. They are the two contexts where applied sparkle is expected, and outside of them it reads as costume. Now, I am not going to tell you to go plain for special occasions, because that is not what you want and it is not necessary. The upgrade is to move from decoration to material. What that means in practice is a clip where the interest comes from what it is made of, rather than from something stuck on it. A brushed gold barrette with no stones, a hammered metal cuff clip, a clip in real horn or good acetate with depth and variation in the material itself. A single smooth pearl set flush into metal is fine. A cluster of them glued on top is not. Same amount of money, often less. Completely different reading. And it works for the wedding, and it also works on a Tuesday, which the jeweled one never did. The fifth is visible bobby pins, and particularly crossed ones. Nearly all of us were taught to cross 2 bobby pins over each other in an X to make them hold better. It does work, and it is a construction detail on display. Here is the principle underneath. Anything that shows how a look was assembled reduces it. This is true across the board. A visible bra strap, a safety pin, a tacking stitch, a hem that has been let down. None of those are ugly in themselves. They simply reveal the mechanics, and revealed mechanics read as effortful, and effort reads as trying, and trying reads as older than ease does. Bobby pins are the most common version of this on a head. 2 dark pins crossed in an X on gray or silver hair is high contrast, hard-edged, and unmistakably functional. It says this arrangement is being held together. There is also a color issue that almost nobody fixes. Most women own black bobby pins because that is what is in the multi-pack at the front of the shelf. If your hair has gone gray, silver, white, or blonde, a black pin against it is the highest contrast object you could put in your hair. 2 fixes, both of them tiny. Buy pins in your own hair color. Silver, blonde, and gray pins all exist and cost the same, and place them underneath rather than on top, meaning slide them in from below so the hair covers them, rather than laying them across the surface. And if you want the genuinely better tool, use spiral pins. They are the corkscrew-shaped ones. They twist in, they hold far better than a bobby pin in fine hair, they do not slide, and they disappear completely because they sit inside the hair rather than across it. Most women have never tried one and they cost almost nothing. So those are the 5. Now the 3 that always work, and they are deliberately simple. The first is a matte claw clip sized to your actual hair volume. The sizing test takes 1 second in a shop. Gather your hair as you normally would, and the clip should close with the teeth almost fully engaged and the 2 halves nearly meeting. If there is a big gap, it is too small and it will pop open. If it closes loosely with room to spare, it is too big and your hair will look sparse inside it. Most women over 60 are wearing a clip 1 size too large because they bought it when their hair was thicker and never resized. Going down 1 size is very often the single change that stops the clip looking like the main event. Choose matte over shiny and solid over patterned. A matte black, a deep chocolate, a bone, or a brushed metal. The second is the flat metal barrette in brushed gold or brushed silver, with a hinged clasp. This is your jewelry clip, and it replaces the embellished one entirely. A plain rectangle or oval of brushed metal, 1 inch or 2 long, with no decoration on it whatsoever. It works because brushed metal is a material with depth. It catches light softly and unevenly, rather than glinting, which is exactly the difference between an expensive luster and a cheap sparkle. And a clean geometric shape in a single good material is the definition of quiet quality. Match the metal to your other jewelry and to your hair. If you wear gold and your hair is warm-toned, gold. If you wear silver and your hair is properly silver or white, silver. And if your hair is genuinely gray or silver, silver metal is the one clip color that essentially disappears into it, while still reading as deliberate. The third is the invisible hold, and this is the sophisticated option. The idea is that the hair looks like it is holding itself. There is a shape, there is structure, and there is no visible hardware anywhere. You do it with spiral pins, or with pins in your own hair color placed from underneath, or with a small clear elastic hidden inside a twist. The hair is doing something deliberate, and there is nothing to see, and the reason I rate this so highly is that it is the only option with no dating risk at all. But every visible object carries some period signal, however small. An invisible one carries none. A woman with her hair in a low twist with nothing showing looks exactly as current today as she would have in 1960 and will in 2040. If you own nothing else, own a packet of spiral pins in your hair color. They cost about £4 and they will change more about how your hair reads than any clip you could buy. Now the placement rule, because I promised it, and because it genuinely outranks everything I have just said. Here it is. Whatever you are using, put it 2 inches higher than you currently do. That is the whole rule, and I will explain why it works, because once you understand it, you will apply it to everything. Where you fasten your hair determines where the volume sits. Above the clip, hair is loose and has body. Below the clip, it is gathered and compressed. So the clip is the dividing line between full and flat. Now think about a face. Everything that happens with age moves downward. The cheeks soften, the jaw loses its edge, the corners of the eyes and mouth drop, and the eye reads a silhouette as a whole. When there is height and fullness above the face, the whole arrangement reads as lifted. When the fullness sits at or below the level of the ears, the whole arrangement reads as dropping, and it reinforces exactly the movement you would rather not reinforce. Most women clip their hair low, at the nape or just above it. It is the natural place because it is the easiest place to reach, and it is where your hands go. And low is the least flattering position available. It flattens everything above it and stacks the visual weight at the bottom, at the level of the jaw and neck. Move it up. Somewhere around the level of the top of your ears or a little above, not a high ponytail on the crown, which is a different look and does not suit everybody. Just 2 inches higher than your hand naturally goes. 2 things happen immediately. The hair above the clip gets to have body, so there is fullness at the crown and around the temples, which is where you want it. And the visual weight moves off your jaw and neck and up towards your eyes. There is a bonus effect too. Clipping higher means the section around your face is lifted rather than pulled flat, which softens the hairline and gives a little movement around the temples. And movement is one of the strongest youth signals there is. Try it once, in front of a mirror, tonight. Put your hair up exactly as you always do, look at it, then take it down and redo it 2 inches higher and look again. It is not subtle, and it is free, and it takes 4 seconds every day for the rest of your life. Before I bring it together, one more thing worth having, which is a color rule. Your clip should be one of 2 things. Either the color of your hair or an honest metal, never a third color. Here is why. If the clip matches your hair, it disappears, and what people see is the shape of your hair. That is the safest and most flattering option in almost every situation. If the clip is metal, gold, silver, brushed brass, it reads as jewelry, which is a deliberate choice and reads as such. Nobody looks at a gold barrette and thinks she was trying to match something and failed. They think she chose that. But a clip in a third color, navy, burgundy, a pattern, something that picks up her blouse, is trying to coordinate, and coordination that does not quite land is the most common way an outfit reads as dated. It also puts an unrelated block of color into the frame around her face, competing with everything else that is going on there, hair color or metal. That is the entire decision, and it eliminates about 80% of what is in most drawers. So let me pull all of it together. A clip is jewelry worn at head height, and it is the one thing you wear that you have never actually seen on yourself. It does 2 jobs. It holds hair, and it draws a line that decides your silhouette, and almost nobody thinks about the second one. The 5 to stop, the oversized shiny brown plastic claw with ridged teeth, which is dated by its finish, oversized for the hair you have now, and slides downward all day. The thin-sprung snap barrette that no longer grips, drifts through the afternoon, and has you fussing at the back of your head where everybody can see it. The banana comb, which is mechanically fine and dated to 1 decade so precisely that it dates you with it. Anything embellished with stones, pearls, or enamel flowers, which reads as cheap regardless of price, throws hard light next to your face, and belongs to registers that are bridal or childish. And visible bobby pins, especially crossed ones, in black on gray hair, which put the mechanics of the arrangement on display. The 3 that work. A matte claw-sized, so it closes almost fully. Most of you should go down a size. A plain brushed metal barrette with a hinged clasp and no decoration, matched to your metal and your hair. And the invisible hold, using spiral pins or pins in your own hair color placed from underneath, which is the only option that carries no period signal at all, and the 2 rules that outrank all of it. Put it 2 inches higher than you currently do, so the fullness sits above your face rather than below it. And make it either your hair color or an honest metal, never a third color. Now the last thing, and it is the reason I wanted to make this one. Everything in this video costs almost nothing. A packet of spiral pins is 4 pounds. Going down a claw size is nothing at all. Moving your hand 2 inches higher is free and takes 4 seconds. And I think that is worth saying out loud, because a great deal of what gets sold to women our age is expensive, slow, and uncertain. Creams that take 12 weeks, treatments that cost hundreds, advice that amounts to being told to accept things. Meanwhile, there is a drawer in your house containing 5 objects that are quietly working against you every day, and you can fix the whole thing this evening for the price of a coffee. Not because you did anything wrong, because nobody ever tells anybody this, and because a hair clip is genuinely the last thing on earth a person would think to reassess. So go and open the drawer. Take out the brown plastic one, the jeweled one, and the banana comb, and put them somewhere else. Order the spiral pins, and tomorrow morning when you put your hair up, do it 2 inches higher than your hand wants to. That is the whole job. Tell me in the comments how much of the drawer I got right, because I would genuinely like to know how many of you found the 1998 claw clip exactly where I said it would be. And tell me whether you have got a banana comb, because I suspect a great many of you are about to go and look. Subscribe if this was useful, because I make these for women who would rather fix 5 things tonight than buy one more jar of something. I will see you in the next one.